Hey guys, welcome to the North Shore Dance Society and the Dancer's Book. My name is Aleksandar Bonev. A lot of students have been asking me about how to practice at home, especially nowadays we have the COVID-19 and many other issues happening around the world. And in today's video, I will do my very best to give you some exercises. Now remember that keeping yourself in shape, besides staying healthy, is extremely important. For all of you that are dancers, I would strongly recommend that you continue improving your techniques, that you continue improving everything that you've been working so hard on developing until this point. For all the viewers that are not necessarily competitive dancers, I strongly recommend simply being active by doing everything that I will demonstrate on our video. For everyone who is new to the channel, please go ahead and just take a look at all of our videos. We have videos for all level dancers, we have videos for newcomer, for dancers who have no dance experience whatsoever, to obviously much advanced dancing. With that being said, please enjoy the video, and if you liked it, please make sure that you subscribe. Alright guys, let's get to business. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on our settling action, including a lot of hip motion in between. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to place your feet together, naturally turn out in a V shape, and to demonstrate from a different angle, pretty much just like this. So what I'm going to ask you to do is please put all of your weight over the right side of your body. As soon as you do that, you will feel how the left foot of yours starts softening underneath. Very, very, very slowly. Now, the more weight you put over the right foot of yours, the more the left foot will release underneath. What will end up happening is the right hip flexors of yours will go all the way back. And I'll do it from a different angle. As I said, here's my right side. My feet are turned V-shaped. I'm very well picked up from the center. Now the right side of mine will receive all my body weight. With that being said, the left foot will start softening underneath, and as you can see, the right side of mine shifts all the way back. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to pick up the center. The more you pick up the center, the more elevation you will receive from underneath as well. So every time when you're picking up the center, you will feel how your knees are kind of rising up with it. This is my neutral position. Right now my weight is equally distributed between both feet. What I'm going to ask you to do is put all of your weight over the left foot of yours, and as soon as you start doing it, you will feel how the right knee starts dropping, starts softening, and obviously I'm going to ask you to push all the way back with the left side of your hip. Demonstrating from a different angle. All of my weight already on the right side. Picking up the center, and now dropping all my weight over the left foot. What's extremely important for this exercise is to make sure that when you're picking up to change your weight, you're doing so from the center. So the feeling that you have to have is that the rib cage of yours is being pulled underneath. And that's the way that you're releasing the weight from foot to foot, and a different angle. First, feet together, naturally turn out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up and put all my weight over the right side. You can push more if you would like to. From here, pick up from the center, which brings the feet together. Keep picking up and start rotating the torso. And put all the weight on the left foot. Now do it again. And does that remind you of a specific dance of yours? For example, if we do this, picking up, releasing the left foot, picking up, releasing the right foot, picking up, together, picking up to change weight, back, picking up to the left, picking up to the right, and Cuban motion, that's right. I know that that's exactly what you were thinking of. Cuban motion, right there. Let's try once again. Feet are together. Naturally turn out. The first thing we're going to do is pick up from the belly and put all the weight over the right side of yours. Relax the left knee. Pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, and put all the weight over the left foot. Every time when you do so, I'm going to ask you to press as much as possible through that hip flexor of yours. So watch me. Picking up, I can simply, this is called settlement. This is called a settlement over one foot or over the other foot. Now, what I can do is I can simply place my weight over the right foot of mine without compressing and pushing through the hip flexor. Now, for the exercise purpose and developing more motion, I'm going to ask you to compress much more. Don't forget to pick up. Now, very important to pick up versus simply staying flat. You see how the upper body looks dead to me. So once again, picking up to place, picking up to place, picking up to place, picking up to place. American Cha-Cha maybe? Picking up. Right? And we'll do it to the other side. 2. Or just from foot to foot. Pick up. Pick up. First thing first, this exercise is going to teach you how to properly settle from foot to foot. The second thing that this exercise will develop better is a proper weight change of yours. The other benefit that you may gain is understanding more of usage, the entire upper body, versus dancing only through your legs. Now, when you pick up your upper body, you always need to direct the weight from foot to foot. With that being said, if I'm staying flat, and if I'm just changing through the hip flexor, through the hip bone of mine, that will not be enough. What I'm going to ask you to do is, when you pick up, start rotating the belly button of yours to one side. Pick up. Start rotating it to the other side. Pick up. Slowly. When you're exercising, it is very important that you do so very slowly to build up the correct muscle memory. Also, that will prevent injuries. Now, the ankles have a very important task here. I'm going to turn around and hopefully this will give you a better view of my heels. When I'm changing from foot to foot, I have two different options. I can either release the heel of the foot that has no weight, or I can keep everything on the floor. Both will be correct. It's going to be used in a different actions. So as an example, if I'm trying to change weight from foot to foot without moving certain directions, there is no actual reason for me to release the heel of the floor. But a very common step of yours may be, for example, let's call it a samba promenade. You need to release one foot to strike and then move the hip flexor after. Or obviously any other step of yours that requires a certain direction. So, once again, and this time with releasing of the heel, releasing of the heel, releasing of the heel, versus soft heels on the floor. Different angle. And now releasing. When you're releasing your heel, one of the things that you will start feeling is this elevation of the opposite hip flexor. Take a look. So as soon as I start releasing the left side of mine, there will be a hip reacting on that. So don't be afraid of it. It's a natural, normal reaction of your upper body. Now, to make this exercise even more interesting and challenging, let's add the hands. So, neutral position, feet are together, V-shaped. The hands you can either keep on the hip, it doesn't matter the position of the hands when they're placed on the hip, or you can place them slightly to the side of yours. What's very important for you is not to overdo your hands. Remember that the hands are always following the upper body. We don't do a hand and then upper body. We commence with the upper body and then we finish with the hand. I'm going to demonstrate with my hands on my hip first. So, change, change, change. As you can see, my hands are not necessarily affecting my upper body movement. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the heel and from a different angle with lifting, and now feet down. Don't forget to lift from the sternum and center of yours. Very good. Now, the second version, as I already mentioned, hands slightly to the side, which by the way would be my personal preference. And lifting. And different angle. And legs on the floor. The less movement you have through your hands, the better for your body action. Alright guys, so far we have talked about settling action, we talked about the hip itself, the hip bone movement, we talked about sternum and center being picked up and transferring from side to side. We discussed the ways that you can keep your hands either on the hip, either slightly to the side. The next very important thing for the exercise is closing your inner thighs. I'm going to show you a version that I rather not see ever from my students, so this. As you can see right now, my knees are essentially following the ball of each foot and they're going naturally turned out. Now, we don't want to do that, not in Latin, not in rhythm. What we would like to do is when we close the inner thighs and when we're transferring weight, you can see how one foot is overlapping the other. And that has nothing to do with our arms being out or being on the hip flexor. That has nothing to do with our heels being lifted or no. We always overlap. We don't do this. I'll show from a different angle. Feet are together and we overlap, overlap, overlap. And when we lift, we do so the very same thing. Especially for you ladies, please be very careful. Make sure that you overlap the inner thighs. So now guys, before we move to the next exercise of ours, I just would like to quickly summarize everything we have done so far in this very first exercise. So when you're beginning, it's very important to have the proper position of the feet, which is V-shaped or naturally turned out. It's important that you maintain a fairly vertical position of the body. Make sure that you feel very well balanced and stable. Initially, before we commence shifting weight, it's always a good thing if the weight is equally distributed between our body, meaning right underneath. The next thing that you want to make sure you're aware is obviously a long neck, shoulders are dropped down. And with that being said, I already gave you the choice of your hands, either here, either on the hip, of course. When you're practicing the exercise, please make sure that you're aware of your center. Alright guys, so the second exercise will start with feet apart. Feet apart naturally turn out since we're practicing Latin and American rhythm. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure the body is equally distributed between both feet. We're going to pick up the center and be aware of your sternum. Shoulders needs to be dropped down and the neck and chin obviously align with your spine. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to shift your right, my left, all the way to the side. Take a look once again, all the way to the side. With that being said, we're going to load all of our weight on your right side. So from the middle to the side. Once you get to this position, you can settle the hip. Then you will pick up the center and you will replace it right in the middle. I'll do it once again, a little bit slower. I would strongly recommend that your hands are maybe either naturally turned out, open just like this, or on your hip. For the exercise purpose, I'll place my hands to the side. So I'm going to shift my entire weight to the side, and then I'm going to turn it in. Everything is on the left. As you can see, the right foot of mine is free. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move right in the middle again. Now, every time when you shift your weight from one foot to the other foot of yours obviously becomes free. Once the foot is free, you have to choose between sliding it underneath or keeping it still with a lot of so-called foot pressure towards the floor, meaning compressing and pushing towards the floor. Both are correct because this exercise is primarily for shifting your weight and settling after that. As you can see, I can either go everything goes, settle without moving it, versus everything goes and pulling it underneath while settling. If I pull my foot underneath, which would be your left foot, if you pull it underneath, keep in mind that while shifting your weight to the center, you again have to go to a so-called split weight position or body weight right in the middle, and then shift to the other side of yours, which will happen to be the left. And then of course we need to settle once again. And then again pick up and go right in the middle. If you decide on sliding the foot, wait, settle, pick up. While picking up, you will probably feel the sense of bringing your right foot slightly to the side. This is going to help you place all of your weight in the middle. I'm going to demonstrate the same thing from a different angle. Feet are equally open. Picking up the center, shoulders down. Hands maybe slightly to the side or around your hip flexor. And we're going to go, first we're going to go to your right. We're going to put all the way to the right. You can see how I'm pushing through my left foot so I can arrive on the right. And then from here, I'm going to put all of the weight on the right hip of mine. Now that I have done it, you can see that my left foot is free. And then from here, I need to go split weighted. And I'll try one more time. This time, as soon as I shift all my weight to the right, I'm going to slide the left foot of mine just a little bit to help me with the settling. And then when I pick up from the center, I'm going to shift all the way back. And then I'll repeat to the left. Now, the same as the very first exercise we did, I would strongly recommend using the center of yours to transfer you from foot to foot. It's extremely important. So every time when you move, there should be a sense of elevation from the center. It is important for you to learn how to do it, because otherwise most of your dancing would look so-called flat. There will be no contrast coming from your upper body. What's important is not to rise from your ankles and above the feet, because rising from the center versus rising from the bow of the feet is completely different, and one is being used quite a bit in American smooth, rhythm and Latin, and the other one is strictly for smooth and international standard. Alright my friends, now that I have given you two very good exercises for hip settlement as well as proper weight change and understanding of your knee action, I would like to give you a little bit of timing and how to practice those two exercises. I'm going to start with the very first exercise that we did. Now, when you're practicing this one, initially I want you to start very, very slowly. With that being said, you can think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're counting the way that I just explained, I would use 2 beats to go to the middle and another 2 to settle all the way. And again, 1, 2, and then a 3, 4 to settle all the way. Different angle, obviously in the middle first. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And obviously when you're to the one side, you can start 1, 2, go all the way, 3, 4. As soon as you feel more comfortable and you would like to work a bit more on a speed, you can start doing it faster. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. While practicing faster, I always recommend, if there's a chance, please look at yourself in a mirror, or obviously have someone telling you if you're moving the shoulders up and down. You shouldn't. With that being said, you want to make sure that the body works underneath, but you're not moving the shoulders. It's extremely important. Another thing that you can do is you can always record yourself and obviously just look at the video after. The slower you do it, the more hip action you'll be able to develop, the better understanding of your weight change you have. So with that being said, pick your battles. The second exercise of ours, we can practice with the very same speed I have explained right now. So split weighted, we're going to use 1, 2, 3 in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the middle, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And of course the faster, 1, 2, 1, 2, and if you would like to slide the feet, 1, 2, 1, which will take you 3 beats. And again, 1, 2, 1. Alright my friends, I hope that you will find the video I just did very helpful. The video is intended to help you practicing at home, especially for those of you that are still deciding on waiting to see what's going on with the COVID. The video should be able to help you develop a proper hip action, settling action, and obviously a clear understanding of your weight change. When you're practicing, make sure that you follow my lead very carefully and practice slow. The slower you practice, the better muscle memory you will build up. I appreciate you watching my video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. And if you have not subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe, share with family and friends. Thank you, and I will see you in my next video.